Hello, welcome to this session. I am Bipin. Today I am going to explain the lesson Journey to the End of the Earth. The lesson is highly significant as it tells us about our past, present, and future. It makes our views holistic and it is also one of the important lessons from examination point of view. Tishani Doshi is the writer of this lesson. She was born in Chennai on 9th December 1975. She is a renowned poet, writer, and dancer. She was also associated with journalism. She won the prestigious Forward Poetry Prize in 2006 for her first book of poetry, Countries of the Body. The Pleasure Seeker, her first novel, has the honor to be shortlisted for the Hindu Best Fiction Award. Tishani Doshi visited Antarctica under the program Students on Ice. And in this travelogue, she has summed up her memorable experiences. This slide catalogs the area we are going to focus upon. While going through this lesson, our focus will be to explore the history of mankind and the history of the earth. We will also evaluate Antarctica as a suitable place for a study of Earth's past, present, and future. We will try to understand the importance of little changes. We can never neglect these changes as they are capable of bringing catastrophic consequences. In this lesson, we will find that there is a need to create an awareness to respect and preserve the nature. Journey to the End of the Earth. The writer has described this lesson in 4 parts. In the first part, she has given a brief description of the long journey undertaken by her. Second part deals with the history of mankind and the history of the earth. Third part, that is human impact. This part shows the destruction of the nature caused by human beings for their own interest, and by doing so they have caused harm to themselves. The fourth part, Walk on the Ocean, expresses writer's unique and exciting experience of walking on 1 meter thick ice sheet above the ocean. So let us come to the first part of the lesson, which deals with author's journey. Author is one among the 52 members who visited Antarctica in a Russian research ship, Akademik Sokolsky. The journey began from Madras. Presently, Madras is known as Chennai. The destination was Antarctica, the coldest, driest, and windiest continent. It took narrator 100 hours to reach Antarctica. During the journey, the author traveled through 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, and 3 water bodies, and also at least 3 ecospheres. A time zone refers to a region of the globe that observes a uniform standard time for the purposes like legal, commercial, and social. Checkpoints are the geographic location on land and sea. Water bodies in this context refers to the oceans. The three water bodies which have been referred here by the writer are Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Southern Ocean. When writer reached Antarctica, her first reaction was of relief, followed by the wonder. She was amazed to see the vastness and the seclusion of the continent. There was no human marker, no trees, no buildings. Now let us come to the next part of the lesson, which deals with history of Earth. In this part, writer has described about the history of the Earth. Earth was always not the same as we see it today. Now there are 7 continents, but about 300 million years ago, there was only one supercontinent named Pangaea. No other landmass was there. 650 million years ago, there were some continents, some microcontinents, and one southern continent named Gondwana. The form of the earth has always changed in terms of biological, geological, and geographical changes. Biological changes refer to the changes in terms of flora and fauna. Earlier, the supercontinent about which I told you, Pangaea, Gondwana, they were rich in terms of flora and fauna. Antarctica was also a part of those continents. Earlier, Antarctica was part of Gondwana. When Pangaea was formed, then Antarctica was part of Pangaea. And there was a huge variety of flora and fauna, but now there is lack of biodiversity. Geological changes refer to the terrestrial changes. Earlier there was only one supercontinent, but now we have 7 continents on the earth. The landmass got divided. So the earth changed itself in terms of geology. Geographical changes refer to the climatic changes. Earlier the climate of Antarctica was much warmer, but now it is the coldest continent and it contains 90% of Earth's total ice volume. So we can say that Earth has changed itself a lot. Children, these changes take place because of the sliding of the plates. These plates always keep on sliding and finally the form of the earth gets changed. These changes are not a sudden. These changes are not a sudden process, but they occur slowly and gradually. And so these changes become visible only after millions or billions of years. Now let us have a look on continental drift. What is this continental drift? Continental drift refers to the separation of the Earth's continents. Here you can see that there is a single landmass. This single landmass was about 335 million years ago, and it was known as Pangaea. It was surrounded by the only super ocean, Panthalassa. And because of this continental drift, this landmass got divided and it formed different continents. Let us see how this continental drift took place. About 335 million years ago, as I told you, that the only one supercontinent was Pangaea, and it was surrounded by this ocean Panthalassa. 650 to 500 million years ago, there was one continent, Laurentia. There were some microcontinents, and one southern supercontinent was also there. Its name was Gondwana. Antarctica at that time was part of Gondwana. During the period of 500 million years ago to 335 million years ago, Laurentia and all other microcontinents, they came together, collided with each other to form Eumerica. Then 335 million years ago, Eumerica and Gondwana, they came together to form the supercontinent Pangaea. So during this period, there was only one landmass on the earth, only one supercontinent was on the earth, and that was Pangaea. 150 to 200 million years ago, this was the period when supercontinent Pangaea began to break up. Pangaea existed for about 100 million years, and after that, during this period, Pangaea began to break up. It splitted itself in two halves. The northern half was known as Laurasia, and the southern half is known as Gondwana. Further, Laurasia got divided in three continents. These three continents are North America, Europe, and Asia. In the same way, Gondwana segregated in Australia, Africa, Antarctica, South America. These four are continents. India was also segregated from Gondwana. Here you can see that how a single landmass has got segregated in 7 different continents. This is a clear picture of Earth before human evolution. You see that this is a single landmass. This landmass, which was known as Pangaea, got segregated in two halves. The northern half is known as Laurasia, and the southern half is known as Gondwana. Entire landmass was surrounded by only one superocean known as Panthalassa. Laurasia got segregated into North America, Eurasia. Eurasia means Europe and Asia together. In the same way, the southern part, Gondwana, got segregated in different land masses known as South America, Africa, Antarctica, India, and Australia. In this picture, the segregation of Gondwana, you can see here the segregation of Gondwana, how Gondwana got segregated in different continents. This is the animated picture of continental drift. You see, this is the landmass of India. It detached from here, Gondwana, and it was pushed up towards north side. It went upward and collided with Asia to form Himalaya. So this landmass of India was earlier here as a part of Gondwana. Here we can see how Earth looked before and how Earth is looking now. This is the earlier appearance of the Earth when there was only one supercontinent surrounded by the only one super ocean. Now we have 7 different continents. Now let us see the third part, human impact. The only living species which has caused harm to the nature is the species of human beings. Though the existence of human beings on this earth is merely of 12,000 years, yet they have destroyed the nature tremendously. Pollution, carbon emissions, population explosion, global warming, depletion of ozone layer, and ecological imbalances. All these factors have badly affected the earth. And this change is clearly visible when we go to Antarctica. Because of this global warming, the icebergs are melting. The icebergs in Antarctica are melting, glaciers are retreating, and ice shelves are collapsing. And if such practices of human beings are continued, then a day may come when again Antarctica may become a warmer place as it was earlier. Antarctica is the perfect place to examine Earth's past, present, and future. No other place in the world is as appropriate as Antarctica is for the study of Earth's past, present, and future. We come to know that about 650 million years ago there was a giant supercontinent in the south called Gondwana. India and Antarctica were parts of the same landmass. Then we can also get an idea of continental drift. Secondly, Antarctica is the only pristine place in the world without any human settlements. And so it holds all the carbon records preserved safely. Nothing has been disturbed because in Antarctica there is no building, no factories, no human population is there. So all the records, all the carbon records are safe there and which are highly helpful in studies. Besides, the melting glaciers and falling ice caps convey us the result of the global warming and warn us for the future. Due to lack of biodiversity, one can notice the impacts easily and vividly. And so Antarctica is the perfect place to study about the Earth. We can become aware of the future affecting problems. We can realize our mistakes, and so we can change our views, we can rectify ourselves. Students on Ice is an educational journey to Antarctica. It takes high school students to show them the terrifying impacts of human activities in Antarctica so that they may realize of the approaching disastrous future, and if they realize so, then they may do some efforts to save the earth. The program was initiated by Canadian Jeff Green. He believed in the energy and enthusiasm of teenagers and decided to take them to Antarctica to provide them the educational opportunities. Students are the future policy makers. Standing in the midst of melting ice sheets and retreating glaciers, they can realize that threats to the earth are real, and then definitely they will make efforts to save the earth. Further, this is also a fact that students are always curious, they are inquisitive, they are always ready to learn, ready to absorb knowledge, and most importantly, they are always ready to act. This was the reason why Canadian Jeff Green decided to take students to the end of the earth rather than taking celebrities to that place. This program has become very successful. In this slide, we can see the significance of small things, significance of little changes, because even little changes can bring big consequences. It is rightly said, take care of small things, a big thing will naturally come to its place. This message has been conveyed by citing the example of phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is a unicellular grass that feeds the entire aquatic lives of Southern Ocean. Global warming and depletion of ozone layer have become a threat for its survival. In turn, it will affect the lives of all living species of that region. Now, after explaining the history of mankind and the history of the earth, impact of human activities on nature, importance of Antarctica in study of Earth's past, present and future, narrator has come to the last part of the lesson, Walk on the Ocean. In the last part of the lesson, Walk on the Ocean, writer has mentioned of the most thrilling experience of the trip when all the 52 members, they walked on a meter thick ice sheet under which there was 180 meters of salt water. Seals were enjoying in the sun on the ice. They were stretching and sunning themselves like stray dogs. Narrator wished Antarctica would not become a warm place as it used to be millions of years ago. If this happens, the result can be disastrous for the human beings. Such thoughts are coming to narrator's mind when she came back to her home. But ultimately, she shows her optimism that a lot can be done in a million of years. Each day makes a difference. Awareness and efforts of the youngsters and our holistic approach, our holistic views can save the planet, will save the planet. Now, here are some questions. You can practice these questions. These questions are important. These questions have been asked in many exams. So the first question is, what was Gondwana? What happened to it? Why did Jeff Green decide to take high school students to Antarctica? Next question is, what are the indications for the future of mankind? These indications are clearly visible in Antarctica, so we have to write about those indications, what may happen in future, how mankind will get affected of his own activities. Fourth question is, why is phytoplankton a metaphor for existence? Next, and for humans, the prognosis is not good. Explain. Sixth question is, why is Antarctica the place to go to understand the Earth's present, past and future? This is very important question. The world's geological history is trapped in Antarctica. How is the study of this region useful to us? This question is also similar to the previous question. Then eighth question is, why does the author say that a lot can happen in million years, but what a difference a day makes? Ninth question is, take care of small things and the big things will fall into place. What is the relevance of this statement in context of Antarctica? This question is also very important. Last question is, how does Antarctica differ from rest of the Earth? So you can practice these questions. Thank you.